Take three. Howdy, everyone. It's the July 4th weekend. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Whenever you're watching this, I'm going to be posting this on the 4th, day early. Doing the video a day earlier, but marking it for Saturday because that's when I always have a video up. So whenever you watch it, hope you're having a wonderful weekend, time with family, hopefully. Anyway, today we are going to talk about another team. We did a few weeks ago, we did the secret of my success with the Topeka Scarecrows, what's going to make them a successful team. I can't talk this morning. Today we're doing the same thing with PeeDee's IceCats. To start off, I want to re-emphasize this again because some people have gotten it. Some people haven't for whatever reason, so I'm specifying it again. PeeDee's IceCats are a new team. They are not an expansion team. And what I mean by that is management, ownership worked out a deal with the league because this is the same ownership group that saved the HC Venom this last year, Parker Muscal and Kevin Kupia, as opposed to participating in an expansion draft. Kind of, a long shot as far as what kind of talent you're going to be able to secure. Parker and Kevin looked at their roster and they said, well, we've got a roster. Can we just carry that over? It's a different entity from the Venom, but we're using that base. Kind of like when the Elmira Mammoth ended and then you had the Elmira River Cats. Different ownership. It was a different franchise, even though it was in the same location. All right, this is the same thing with PD. All right, they said, look, we've got a roster. We got a core for a roster. Why should we go to the expansion draft and do that? And the league said, yeah, that's a good move. I think it worked out well for everyone because, first of all, the other teams, the other established teams, didn't lose another 1, 2, 3 players to PD. And again, it takes a lot of the startup work out. And you're already focused on trying to get things ready for, with the arena building itself and with marketing. Why should you have to go out and scout the league trying to figure out who to pick up? You've got players already, so that's what they did. All right. Let's see. Now we go into that. Let's talk about the details. Now, PD, why are they called PD? That is the river that flows through that area of South Carolina. It's Florence, South Carolina, but the area has been known as the PD River region forever. So the team is called PD, much like past teams that played there called PD. All right, they're in Florence. They're playing in the Florence Center, which seats a little over 7,500 people. Nice size arena. I'll say this because I got to get it off my chest. The only thing I hate about this arena, and I hate this, is the fact that the press box is in the corner. I'm sure they're going to set things up with cameras for streaming games where they'll be, on the sides, at the center red line. But, that press box idea is terrible. And nothing Parker and Kevin can do about it. I mean, the arena was built back in '93, so it is what it is. All right, so we talked about the ownership group, Kevin and Parker. Business GM, Scott Brand. Now, that means he's not GM in forming the roster and working with the players. He's working on the business aspect of things, the front office side of things, which he excels at. Right? We saw that in Motor City. There was almost a zero possibility that Motor City was coming back for this last year. Scott Brand made it possible. So, anyway, that's the core of your front office. And of course, we have the coach, Gary Graham, who has a lot of experience. He spent 3 years in Fort Wayne with the Comets, the famed Fort Wayne Comets. He was an assistant coach for 3 years. Then he took the head coaching job in Pensacola, won a President's Cup, went back to Fort Wayne, this time as a head coach, 6 years there. He also spent some time coaching in Beijing in Chinese League, and with the Nottingham Panthers, who are in the Elite Ice Hockey League in England. Then he ended up in Pensacola the last 2 years. And now here he is, first time in the Fed. All right, so he's got a lot of coaching experience. So there are still a lot of things going on. They're installing the new boards, they're restoring the ice plant. There's going to be new offices. They're being constructed right now, new locker rooms. Players are going to love that. I guess it was about a month and a half ago. Parker Mescal took everyone on a tour of the Florence Center along with Kevin Zabad, and they kind of showed off different areas of the arena. This is what we're going to do here. Here's what's going to be here. Very ambitious, very, very good plan, and it's going to be a nice facility for hockey. Hate the press box, but Parker has no control over that. So, all right, let's talk about the roster. What is it going to look like? Well, now, if you go on the Fed website or on the PD IceCats page, you'll see a list of about 37 names. Now, I was made aware yesterday by someone in the league that there are 2 roster lists for everyone. There's the one that you and I see on the Fed website or on the team website. And then there is one that the league itself has like an intranet, and things are kept very nice in there. Because I found out that, what we see, 37 names on the roster. Their actual roster right now is 29. Now, I didn't ask as far as who is not there. Probably should have. But this was somebody with a different organization, so I don't know if they were at disclosure to release that information. So I'm just going to go off of what you and I, the poor schmucks, know and talk about that. All right. So there are several names on the roster list that were carryover from the HC Venom list that never played. This roster list came originally from the Elmira River Sharks. All right, a couple names: Cody Rogers, Blake Peavy, Frank Trezera. You're not going to see them playing for the PD IceCats. You're just not. There are others that are listed that probably, most likely, will not be back. That would include Olivier Baudin, Blake Cudmore, Andrei Ivanov, and Brandon Soiseski. Now, Brandon, he signed with Quad City, and Quad City was quite happy with his performance last year. So I do not see him not playing in the SP next year with Quad City. All right, so let's go with what we do have, what the roster might end up looking like on opening day. Because keep in mind, it's a long summer. We're all waiting for hockey to come back. We're tired of summer already. At least most of us are. So let's go off of what we know now and what the roster might look like. Now, there's going to be a lot of change. Lots of change as the summer progresses. Teams are going to make trades. There's going to be signings. There's going to be other players released for one reason or another. One player might say, I thought about coming back this next year, but no, I'm moving on to the next chapter in my life. I'm not playing next year. So then they'll be released probably closer to when camps are opening up in late September, early October. So what you see now is not what you're going to have, but based on what we do see now, I'm taking a guess at what this roster might look like. All right, first in goal, Ricardo Gonzalez. This was, I think, the biggest signing from the dispersal draft, and with good reason. Gonzalez, he put the weight of the entire Rockers team on his shoulder and just did it really well. And I'm going to get rid of the sunspot for a second. Yeah, that's better. Okay. He won 13 of the team's 19 wins. Went 13, 17, and 3, which I know doesn't sound fantastic, but with the amount of shots that the Rockers gave up, he played fantastic. 919 save percentage, 375 goals against, and 2 shutouts. And he earned himself a call-up to Peoria. He was up there for about 3 weeks, I believe, 3 or 4 weeks. And boy, did the Rockers miss him when he was gone. So Gonzalez, the consensus number 1 for the IceCats. I think this was a really huge pickup for them, and it's going to pay off. Now we've got 3 people that are currently on the roster going to be vying for backup spot. Austin Mellon, Matt Sales, he's a rookie, and so is Chris Kerr. We'll see what happens. Might sign another goaltender as well, or trade for one. Who knows? All right, but that's your goaltending. Defense, I think there's a good core here. You've got Connor Craig, who really had a breakout season last year for the Venom. I know the team struggled, but Connor Craig played very, very well. 6 goals, 28 points, 193 shots on goal. So, yeah, he's a puck mover. He's an offensive defenseman. Another great pickup, Nicholas Miguel Diaz with Motor City. 4 goals, 27 points, 91 penalty minutes, so he can bring the sandpaper, but he also can contribute offensively. Austin Pickford, he only played 27 games because he earned a call-up to the SP, and played in Quad City, played 11 games up there, and was a plus 13 in those 11 games. Austin Pickford, a goal, 15 assists. Again, seen as someone who can set up an offensive opportunity. Mark Poser with the Venom last year, 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points, 117 penalty minutes, plays with a lot of grit, brings a lot of physical presence to the back end. And then you have new signee Timur Rasulov, played in Romania. He's a 36-year-old veteran. He's coming over to the Fed to be a veteran leader. Another good puck-moving defenseman, 22 assists in 35 games played, and a plus 6. So he's been playing in Europe for many, many years. This is his first time in North America. So you got a good core there, defensemen. At the forward positions, I speculated based again on what is on paper right now, what the lines might look like. All right, but there's a caveat. All right, so the first line, Kevin Zabad, who is the first signee for the IceCats, he's going to be a central figure for the team this year on the ice. They just traded for Dustin Gisso, and on their roster, carried over from last year, Amantis Noriega. If Noriega joins this team, that would be huge. You could reunite two heads from the 3-headed monster that I touted last year with the Venom. the two, Giselle and Noriko, have played with each other on the same line, set each other up. They know they're very familiar with each other. That could be an offensive powerhouse. But the key is, will Noriko come back? Last year, he earned a call up to the SP. When he was released from his SP contract, he opted to go back to Lithuania to play there, as opposed to finishing out the season with the Venom. So I don't know. Maybe a change of venue, the new head coach, maybe he'd be willing to come back. We don't know that right now. But that would be fantastic. Noriko, 15 games played, 20 goals. Dustin Giselle only played 32 games, 26 goals, 39 assists, 63 points. On a second line, you could have Hugo Kosh, who had a fantastic year with Mississippi 2 seasons ago. Last year was kind of a letdown. I don't know if Gary Gill had him in a different role, but he just never seemed to get going offensively. Wasn't shooting the puck a whole lot, but he can score, and a lot. Helmer Oscarsson, he had a great year. It was injury riddled, unfortunately. He spent a lot of time in the IR with a couple different injuries. It was like a Murphy's Law year for him. But when he was on the ice, he played very well. 24 games, 18 points, a +7. There weren't a whole lot of players on Monroe with a positive plus-minus. So Oscarsson did very well. And you could also potentially have Houston Wilson on that second line. We know what Houston Wilson can do. He spent more time in the SP than in the Fed the last 2 years, but if he sticks around, 16 games, 11 points. So, that would be a good second line, I think. So you could potentially have two excellent offensive lines. And then you have some other players who can play very well. In addition, Danik Duran, he played with Carolina last year, 6 goals, 27 assists, 33 points. Nikolai Salov, he spent most of the year with the Dashers, 47 games, 19 points. Very speedy skater, Salov is. And then you could also have Andrew Uturo, who, again, excelled with the Dashers when he was traded over there. Uturo had 21 points in 44 games. He is excellent, especially if he gets in the high slot bumper area. He's very dangerous there. So that's a potential kind of look at maybe your top 9. So what are the most important keys? All right, first of all, you need a solid backup goaltender, whether it's one of those 3 that are vying for a position, Mellon, Sales, or Kerr, or if it's somebody else. You need someone dependable to back up Rico. You don't want to burn Rico out. Ideally, you'd like a goaltender who could play 15 to 20 games to spell Gonzalez. All right. You need a solid stay-at-home defenseman, somebody who's not going to show up in the stat sheets, but that takes care of things in their own end. My contention is the most successful teams, no matter what professional level you're playing on, has a stay-at-home guy, and that is where they excel, and that is where they're focused. That frees up the other defensemen to push the puck up and contribute to the rush. But you need a stay-at-home guy to guard the gate. I think you need a little more depth at forward. There's 2 good lines, potentially. Again, and this is my next key. You need to do whatever you can to get Noriko back. He's going to be the guy, your scorer. He's going to be the solid number 1 guy. I'm not taking anything away from Dustin Giselle, because Giselle can score 2 points per game. But if you have someone, a pure goal scorer like Norika combined with Jasso, boy, is that going to make you dangerous. So, also, they have a very favorable schedule. 49 of their 56 games are against the teams that are closest to them: Blue Ridge, Carolina, Athens, and Columbus. So they're not going to get burned out by travel. That's good. They need to figure out how to take advantage of that. All right, some concerns that I think you have, they're not necessarily problems because, again, it's a long summer, but concerns. Could be a little weak at the center position. Do you have a guy that can win 55 to 60% of the draws? Do you have someone that can set up plays, that can score well, that can carry the puck well, really put the team on his back? All right. The Continental is going to be very, very tough. I kind of said it here. I said it here too. It's going to be whoever ends up in the 5 playoff positions for the Continental Division are going to earn it. I don't think you're going to see a team with 45 wins from the Continental. I think everyone's going to be like, high 30s as far as the top teams, because, wow, the division is stacked. There is a lot of talent from top to bottom. I don't think you're going to see a terrible team in the Continental Division. You're not going to see a team only winning 8-9 games. All right, everybody's going to be competitive in this division. So PD needs to have a solid roster, a solid and complete roster in order to compete in this division. And finally, team chemistry. That's always a concern with any new team. Any expansion team, when you're getting players from here and there and everywhere, it's going to be tough. Now, I think PD has a good bead on this. A lot of the players come from either Monroe or the Venom. So a lot of these players are already familiar with each other and have played together. And so in that sense, I think they're ahead of the curve. But it is going to be a very, very tough season. I have a good guess. I mean, it's only July 4th. I could do a pretty good guess, an educated guess at how I think the Empire Division is going to finish up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't get that with the Continental Division. I have a solid number 1, and then 2 through 7, it's going to be a dogfight. So, at this point, and yes, it's still very early. We've got a lot of roster moves that need to be made before we get a really good idea as far as exactly what each team's roster is going to look like. But I think PD, they're going to be in for a battle every single night this year. Everybody in the Continental Division is just going to be in a huge battle. So, anyway, those are some of the high points for the PD IceCats. Now, in our next video that I'll put up probably Saturday night, we'll be talking about the history of hockey in the PD region. Because, yes, they have had hockey there before. That's why they have such a nice facility. All right. But anyway, I hope this kind of was a good introduction for you to the PD IceCats. All right. Make sure to hit like and subscribe, please, to this video. Tell a friend. Let's grow that subscribers list. Follow me on Facebook. Very important. That's where all the news gets printed first. And then, of course, make sure to follow me on the Flash Audio Network as well. The links are on my Facebook page. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Gary Ryan. Again, happy 4th of July, and have a safe and good weekend. And we will catch you next time with some history of PD hockey.